All right, thank you very much, Didi, and also to Wayne. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll call upon our next interviews, and this one is with StratServ, Mr. Kaima, and also if we could have Andrew back on stage to discuss these interviews. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel and Kibble. The first time I heard your business name, StratServ, I thought like I was the only one, Stratcom. And then I found out that you do something really different from me, more at high level instead. It's all about, Kibble, you said the other day, it's all about taking them from this stage after they get the funds, but maybe you tell the story better.
Thanks, Andrew, and congratulations for hosting another very successful SME breakfast. Job well done. And thank you for the opportunity. In a nutshell, StratServ is about providing after-sales service. I'd like to describe that as the banks and the financial institutions are the dealers. They sell the vehicle. StratServ provides after-sales service, which in our experience is absolutely critical to the success story of SMEs that are funded. Funding alone is insufficient, but after they get the funds, for the duration of the term that they service their loan, that stage is the success story. And in our experience, there is a very serious gap that needs to be addressed. I like the way that the chairman of SMAC put it this morning in his introductory statement, that all of us in the industry have got roles to play. And StratServ has identified a niche market where we need to play that role and bridge the gap between the banks and the financial institutions and the entrepreneurs, SMEs themselves. There's a huge gap. Our success, in definition of a success story for SMEs, is when they are able to service their obligations with the banks and financial institutions and become standalone, diversify their portfolio, and they grow to the next stage of their definition. So in a nutshell, that's the role that StratServ plays. We are basically we provide after-sales service. Thanks, Andrew.
That's a bold statement when you have heads of financial institutions in this room. And the amount of money and funds that government has availed, access to finance for the 200 million, 100 million. Are you telling me that when they get their loan, so to say, or like by Mkara or something, it's really what happens after they leave, for example, BSP, using that as an example. You're holding their hands and guiding them through that process, right, Daniel?
Yes, and thank you, Andrew, again, for the opportunity. Essentially, as what my colleague just mentioned, we see within the SME space, particularly with the government funding that's available, there is that gap there in terms of, I guess, working with SMEs to be able to ensure that whatever requirements the banks in particular impose or state in terms of an applicant seeking funding through the SME program, we work with that business owner, that individual, to ensure that those requirements are met They get the funding. On top of that, it's basically working with them to ensure that their obligations to the bank is met over time. So that's essentially what we intend to introduce as part of our services, working with SMEs and the institutions that support the work of the SMEs.
All right, that's Daniel. Maybe just educate us a bit about your background. I hear you've got a legal background. Kibble, you've got some experience. I mean, why should small business owners trust you, like to take them from this stage to that stage, or to completing the cycle of the funds that they got, and ensuring that it's gone to the right place to deliver what they applied for that matter? What's your story there? Like, tell us a bit about yourself, so we plug clearly.
Thank you, Andrew. I think what we offer, professionally in the banking and finance industry for 20 plus years, working in a corporate environment and servicing an SME, but now coming outside of that industry, the banking and finance industry, and trying to offer a tailored service for SMEs. That is the challenge that we see. It's not about just the funding part of it. I take an example of the government facility that we now have, 100 mil with BSP, 80 mil with NDB. The success story is not told yet. We do know that BSP has very successfully rolled it out. The 100 mil has been rolled out. NDB has done the same. But that does not tell us the success story. We need to handhold the money that has been expended to SMEs. StratServ offers that service to ensure that the success story is told to the banks and financial institutions.
I'm just getting this. So what you're saying is not hold the money, but guide them through that process, right? Like, provide mentoring, coaching, leadership, and ensuring that that those management support services are there, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, it is, Andrew. It's not just accounting and auditing service. It's more than that. The ethics in business that SMEs need to know. The roles and responsibilities of board of directors in an SME that must be emphasized. There's the aspect of business planning. There's aspects of management ethics. There's so much involved in startups, especially SMEs are startups, and that's the biggest challenge.
All right, I'm just going to have to take leave of stage to bring someone up. I'll just hand the mic over to Lawrence, and thank you, Daniel, and Kibble will bring you up in the next session as well, Lawrence.
Thank you. Let's give a big hand to our gentlemen here this morning. Some very important discussions.